Here's my mint leg centipede eating. I wasn't planning on doing a feeding video, but I'm not using some intense lighting in it, so it stayed out, so we're going to film it a bit. Usually when I put the big lights on it, it scurries away and hides. And also I tried changing the exposure on my video camera here so to brighten it up a bit. Hopefully it will show up and it will be worth sharing with you guys. That was odd. It decided to clean itself for a second and then went back to eating. Hey, what's up? This is Anthony with AGT Exotics, and today we're going to be looking at molts. We have a tea that is molted, so what we're going to do is time-lapse that, and then we're going to sex it using the molt. I also have 5 other molts, so it'll be a total of 6 in this video. So let's get checking these molts. So here's one of my Firmictopus cancerides starting to molt. Let's do another time lapse.
this little Firmicutes concertes was all over the place. Usually they kind of stick to one spot, but it molted on a hill and kind of ended up all over the place. Beautiful coloration this time. It seemed like the last time it molted it lost its blue, but this molt it gained it back. Pretty cool. Alright.
So I got all my supplies that I need to do this. I got my bowl of warm water with just a drop of dish soap in it, and that breaks the surface tension and allows the tea's molt to actually sink and absorb water and get moist enough so that we can manipulate it without breaking it to check for the parts we need to check for. I have pieces of paper. That's what I do is I get it wet, not the paper. I get the molt wet. Here, we'll start with one already. Put it in the water, kind of get it to submerge a bit. We'll let that absorb. And while that's sitting there, so I get my paper and I'll sit it on the paper and then use my tools here. I use 2 toothpicks and I use those to spread the molt out so I can examine it. And then I use one of these USB microscopes, which plugs right into my computer. Turns on, has its own little light. And then I'll show you the footage on the computer when we get some footage going. Alright, so the first tea we're going to work with here is a Poecilotheria subfusca Highland. Or I believe they changed it to Poecilotheria species Highland. I think that's how you say it now. Alright. So lay it out facing down. And then what we're going to do is very carefully try to unwrap the abdomen area of the molt and reveal the organs to determine if it's male or female. It's a very delicate process without tearing it, and a lot of hoping that the tarantula itself did not eat this area during its recovery after its molt, because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll absorb moisture from their molt and they'll kind of chew it up. So in that process they will damage it. So what we're looking for is a little organ which is situated right between the forward set of book lungs. Let's see if we can see what's going on here. I can't quite see this one with the naked eye yet. It's not a large enough T. Try to get it in focus here on this microscope. There we go. It's about as focused as we're gonna get. This isn't the greatest microscope, but it's good enough for a tarantula around the 1.5 to 2 inch plus range. Alright, so I'm gonna push record on this. So I'll kind of show you here on the molt. there is a little orange flap that does indicate this is a female. Right there. This is a little female. So that means I have two female Poecilotheria Highland, Highland. Alright, cool. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so now we're going to take our next species and put it into the water. This is a Lamprothelma velocipes, unsexed. Hopefully we'll determine the sex on this one. And now we're going to take this old one and we're just going to set it to the side. Because we'll just throw it away when we're done with all this. Get a new piece of paper out, ready to go. This only does take just a few seconds in the water, under a minute usually. Maybe if the molt is very dried out, maybe it'll take a little bit longer to absorb the water, but this one's been actually this one molted a long time ago, so this one may be a candidate for that. This one is in pretty bad shape, so the odds of me being able to recover any information from this is going to be very iffy. Okay, that's probably good. Like I said before, you lay it facing down and away from you with the fangs forward. And try to do your best to unravel the puzzle that is the abdomen without tearing it. And you want to reveal the section right between the forward book lungs. Forward set of book lungs. This one I just tore right at it, so that's going to make it more difficult. Alright, let's get our microscope zoomed in here. Alright, we got our area in question on the scope. Alright, we got our area in question in focus. Oh, see those two deals right there? Spermathecas? Those are where the male injects the sperm into. And these are the sacs that store it until she is ready to utilize it to make an egg sac. So this as well is a female. So this Lamprothelma velocipes is also a female, so I have two females. There we go, there's a very good picture. Awesome. Cool, let's move on to the next one. So before I start forgetting, because I have a terrible memory, I'm going to break out my tablet and open up the app and start marking them as females or males as I go along here. Use the Tarantulas app by Eric. It's a very good little app, very useful in many ways. Tracks your feedings, tracks your molts, tracks your breeding situations. It's a pretty good app. So first we got our Postletheria species Highland, number 2. So let's mark that. I'm sorry, number 1. It was a suspect female last time, but I'm pretty sure it's a female this time. It was quite small last molt. Alright. So we got that one marked. Now let's go to our, what was it? Velocipes. So our Lamprepelma Velocipes. Lamprepelma Velocipes number 2. Whoops, I accidentally fed it. Let's go to, oh, I gotta actually open up the T to unfeed it. Feed history. Click on that last one there. Delete. Alright. Save. Okay. So Lamprepelma Velocipes number 2 is a female. And our number 1 is also a female. For some reason it's not marked right now. I just added these into the app the other day. Guess I forgot to do it. There we go. Alright, now our next molt is ready to go. This one is from our Carabiner Versicolor 1. So far with our Carabiner Versicolors, out of the 4 that I have, all of them don't have anything there, so they look more like a male. But we're going to keep checking them because I did make a mistake on one of my teas a while back, or last video. I thought that Brachypelma albipilosa Nicaragua was a female for like a year, and it turned out to be a male, so. Maybe it was a mismark. We'll see. I guess there's no way to see. But and this one looks too damaged to notice what's going on here. The area right at the book lung is tore. There is some kind of little flap sitting there. I guess we'll take a peek at it. But my hopes are not high. Yeah, as you can see, there's nothing to really examine here. It would be right underneath this part, right about there. It is the area, but it's just not enough material to look at to see. Alright, so let's move on to the next tee. Here's a little something I do as well. I'm doing all my species that don't have as many urticating hairs. So I did all my old worlds first, and now I'm gonna do the arboreal new worlds, which seem to have less urticating hairs, and so far, for my opinion. So now I'm going to do a Avicularia purpurea. I got 2 of these to do. They're quite small, so if it's not 100% evident that it's a female, we will not mark anything. Even though I already do have suspect female on both of my, or on 2 of my purpureas. Just the area is really hard to see, it's so small with these guys. They're only about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Alright. Okay. Let's take a peek. There is 2 little nubs sitting there. See if we can get them to, oh, there we go. Get them to roll. That's the best way to tell because of the background. It makes it really hard. So if you get the organ to roll, the spermatheca, you can see them. Yeah, I'd call this a female for sure. Alright. Alright, so Avicularia purpurea number 1 is a female. So you get that one to roll right there on the right at the tip. Really dark. Let's see if we can get this other one to show up as well. There is 2 of them. There we go. There they both are. Very cool. Alright. Alright, so here is our 5th one that we're doing here. This is a Avicularia purpurea. This is my number 4, the 4th one I own, that I just got from my buddy when I moved. So this is kind of an older molt that's been sitting in there, and I finally recovered it yesterday, so it may not be usable for sexing. Looks like we have just enough material to use, so let's give it a try. Alright, just at a quick glance I do see 2 little knobs that could indicate this is a female, but we're going to do our normal manipulating and rolling of the organ to see if we can determine. And it does look to be a female. Yes, there we go. Perfect. And this is a very small specimen of about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. There we go. You can see the organ roll, the spermatheca, the pouch where the male puts his sperm, and the female stores it until she's ready to use it in her egg laying process, sac making. Alright, so female. Female for number 4. Awesome. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our very itchy species. This is the Phormictopus concerites. These guys kick quite a lot for me. They kick so much that I call them itchy and scratchy. So this is my number 1, which is itchy. And this is the one that just molted yesterday that we used for this time lapse. So we'll take a peek at her. She is a beauty. Hopefully she won't be too sketchy here. but it's starting to get lines on the carapace. Hopefully we can get a good glimpse at her. Look at those colorations. Look at that coloration. So pretty. One beautiful thing about these tees is that they change their coloration almost every molt. It's such a beautiful specimen. Hope you're getting a glimpse at that. Good glimpse at it. Oh, making her uncomfortable. Making it uncomfortable. We'll find out if it's a male or a female here. Okay. Sorry, little one. Didn't mean to bug you. So let's soak it. So what I could have done, what I normally do is right when a tea molts, right when a tarantula molts, I take the molt out and I check it real quick without any soap or anything, just because it's still moist. You can check it and then put it back in so that the tea can absorb moisture from it if it needs. But I was just too tired to deal with it, so I left it in there. So we're gonna soak it here for a second. I noticed last night that my my male Poecilotheria metallica was making another sperm web, and he has been acting like he was gonna pass. So I was getting kind of bummed, but he got like revived all of a sudden. So maybe he ate a couple of those roaches that are in there with him. I put one in there, but I can't see if he ate it or not, and then I put another one and I never saw if he ate it, so maybe he got him and now he's revived a bit. So what we're going to probably do is throw him in with the female, maybe for the rest of his life. I don't know if that's a smart idea, but we're going to probably put him in there and let him live his life out in there with her. We just fed her 2 fat dubias last night. So we'll probably do that later tonight or tomorrow for next week's video. Okay, seeing this is not very dry, it was just from last night, we're able to do this. Alright. This is such a pretty specimen. There is very much so a pouch right here, so that's usually, seems to me that that's a good indication that it's a female, but we're gonna check it out on the scope. Alright, so let's take a look. Oh yeah. There we go, do you see them? Like 2 little ears. Quite large. There we go. So we got a female. There. There's the one on the right and the one on the left. You know, it's really hard when people send you photographs to try to sex a tea when you really do need a little video so you can manipulate the area, because you know not every photograph shows them properly. So really doing a small clip and you manipulating the area is going to help with people trying to determine if it's a female or not for you. So if you can, try to get a little clip of it, a little video clip. Alright, so that's a female. Alright. Very happy with that one. This is such a pretty tea, and I would be bummed if they both were males. Even though I wouldn't mind seeing them go through the process again, because it's the amount of color changes you get per molt is just amazing. Alright, so to wrap this up now, we're going to go wash our hands because we do have urticating hairs on us from this process, and we don't want to get them in our eyes or anywhere else we don't want urticating hairs to be. Pretty much anywhere on your body. Alright, so I'm going to go wash up. Thanks for joining me on this week's video. We checked a bunch of molts. We got to see molt time lapse and also a Scolopendra species mint leg eat. Such a cool critter. Alright, so just a little update on my what is it, a Heterothelli villicella male that I shipped out a few months back, and he had a successful breeding situation. He bred like 4 or 5 times with a female. She laid an egg sac about 3 days ago. So hopefully we will get some more footage from the breeder of the egg sac and possibly some little slings. But so we'll be doing hopefully an update video, and also, you know, when I get them in myself, we'll do tons of videos on them. Alright, so catch you guys next week. There's a subscribe button. There's a video recommended for you. And there's the AGT Exotics playlist. See you guys next time.